So welcome everyone. Welcome to this exciting webinar. I'm Lucien, I'm one of the founders and CEO at Shippeo, and I'm joined by Jonas, who's CEO at Logward, who recently joined the company a few weeks ago. We are here to talk about why Shippeo and Logward are doing together, turning trusted visibility into AI-powered execution. So we'll have a lot of product demonstration today. The goal is to show you what the platform does, how this is bringing value to our customers, and what the future looks like together. Maybe jumping to the next one in terms of agenda, we'll spend a little bit of time explaining you why Shippeo and Logward are joining forces, what it means for the future, what it means for our mission, for our vision as a company. And then Jonas from Logward will take you through what this acquisition enables in terms of product and value to our customers. So we'll talk about integration, we'll talk about orchestration, execution and control, and of course, what the product does. And then we'll have some time for Q&A. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to send them in the chat, and we'll have time at the end of the presentation to answer all of your questions. So thanks again for joining. Maybe just a quick word of introduction. We've been doing visibility at Shippeo for the last 10 years, if we go to the next one. And our mission has been to build a trusted visibility platform for autonomous supply chain execution from day one. Our vision is to empower people behind supply chain to keep the world moving thanks to visibility. And we've actually spent the last 10 years building the trusted foundation of visibility for our customers. But it was always in our vision to build more execution capabilities thanks to autonomous execution. And this is why today we are bringing Logward and Shippeo together, being able to combine trusted visibility, which is what we've been doing for the last 10 years at Shippeo, with AI-powered execution. So this ability to go from what we see and how we act upon what we see has been part of our mission from day one, and we now bring it to reality thanks to Logward. So Shippeo, as you already know, probably is our backbone in terms of visibility, and Logward brings workflow engine and integration capabilities to make visibility actionable for our customers. What it does concretely, we'll come back to that in a minute, showing you the platform. But the future we are building together with Jonas and the team is a single platform that combines trusted visibility and AI-powered execution. How does it look like in practice? This is how we represent our solution. So on the bottom of this slide, you see what we've been building for the last 10 years, a very strong carrier network powered by integration capabilities and trusted visibility. So that's what all of our customers have been using for the last 10 years. And now we are bringing on top of it some execution capabilities and orchestration. What we're going to focus on today is the integration, because Logward is bringing to Shippeo a lot of new integration capabilities powered by AI. And of course, when we are talking about visibility and execution, getting the data into our system and being able to share this data with external parties and systems is really what we make for a living. So we'll focus on that today, what Logward brings in terms of integration capabilities. Then we'll go into orchestration. How can you actually take this visibility information that has been integrating into our system and orchestrate some manual actions, manual workflows that can be now powered by AI? So we'll come back to that. And finally, we'll go with two examples of our execution and control solutions, talking about time slot management and detention and demurrage, which are the two first applications that we are bringing to the market with our orchestration capabilities. So this is what we'll focus on today during the webinar. Maybe just one quick survey and poll for all of you in the room. So one question that we can share, which is how do you plan to leverage trusted visibility in your organization, in your supply chain today? Probably that some of you, lots of you have visibility today in the room. Is it sharing live updates with your customers? Is it automating manual workflows, identifying bottlenecks and improving planning, or increasing carrier collaboration? So maybe I'll leave 1 minute for you to answer that question, and we can go to the next part of the presentation. So please take 1 minute to answer that question, and I can share the results. Great. Maybe switching to the results. of the poll. If you can flash them on the screen, Lucy. Great. It's actually interesting. We have a lot of different answers, but the first topic that is coming up is automation of manual workflows, which is, again, we believe a natural evolution of where trusted visibility is going, from visibility to execution and to action. So that's the first topic that is coming up. 75% of you have mentioned automating manual workflows. Then we have identifying bottlenecks and improving planning in your supply chain, which is also very interesting areas that we can cover with orchestration. Then we have sharing update with your customers, which is, I would say, the basics of visibility. And finally, increasing carrier collaboration. Great, really interesting. Thanks for answering that. Moving up to the next part of the presentation, we're going to start with integration, how Logward is supercharging our integration capabilities at Shippeo. So over to you, Jonas.
Merci beaucoup. Most important question, am I audible?
Yes.
I hope so. Cool. Thank you so much. Then, hello everyone, I'm Jonas and I'm super excited to be here. Even more excited to hopefully meet you in person as soon as possible. I'm very bad at PowerPoint slides, so I thought I'll just be showing you as much as possible from the platform live today as I can. I hope that's cool for everyone. As Lucien mentioned, we wanted to show you the integration hub, our orchestration layer today, and two solutions from our execution and control module. Starting with integration hub, you can see this as your universal translator for your supply chain. So every customer, every supplier, every partner of yours probably speaks a slightly different language, answering from different systems in different timing. And our integration hub takes all of that diverse and sometimes maybe messy reality, cleans it, unifies it, and delivers it to wherever you need it inside your business. Let me just show you how it looks like. Let's imagine we want to bring in different orders from your suppliers. So what I can do is I can build pipelines, that's what we call it. We can grab data from certain places, do something with it, and then deliver the data to a place where we need it. So what you're seeing in here is I'm taking data, in that case, order data from different places, from an ERP of our customers maybe. So I'm taking an SAP iDoc. I'm taking an email inbox because not every partner of yours is able to be integrated via their ERP, which is fine. Then I assume some of you use Snowflake as a data lake, and others would just plainly use an Excel upload, which is also fine. We can cover all of these. If you're going for the email inbox, as you're seeing right here, I probably need to throw in an OCR engine to read the PDFs that are coming into your inbox. And then I obviously need to map all the data that I'm getting from all the 4 different sources, from the Excel file that I put at the top, from the SAP, from the email inbox, from Snowflake, and I need to map them to the required format. I know it's a bit technical. You're almost done with it. Bear with me. All I do is I connect the 4 different data sources. I map them in our data mapper according to the or towards the target data model and data structure that we need, so that I can actually work with it. One way to work with it could be to run it by an AI agent. So all of you are used to working with LLMs every day. So I want to give you the chance to run your map data model by an AI agent of your choice. You can choose whatever LLM you want, and then enrich the data, correct it, because whatever you're getting usually is not in the quality you would want it to be. And once you're done with that, you might want to deliver the data to a certain place, let's say to the execution and control layer that we'll be talking about later. So you might want to use a webhook for it, which again is very technical, but I told you, you made it, you survived that section. So that is one super simple and 2.5 minutes quick run through how we would get data from A to B and do something with it in between. So the goal is to unify all the data that you need to put it to work. I hope that's making sense. And I think we've got a bit of time after the demo, so I'm very much looking forward to as many questions as possible in here.
And again, Jonas, if you can stop there for 1 minute. People who are experienced with visibility know that the integration is really the backbone of having visibility that works, whether we are integrating data from the shipper system, from the carriers, from the suppliers. It's highly complex in supply chains to adapt to this reality of having fragmented systems in your organization. And this is bringing simplicity into this integration world. So that's, again, the foundation, the backbone of what we're doing, whether it's visibility or orchestration. So really excited about having that for our customers and partners.
So that was the first step that Lucien referred to, like how to connect to your ecosystem, how to connect to the world. Now, once data is in your ecosystem, in your world, in your platform, we just don't want to have it sitting there, right? We want to put it to action. We want you to benefit from the data. We do this in our orchestration layer. That is the place where we actually shape data models and make them fit to the business that you run. And then we can enable you to put business logic on top of it, right? I know it sounds very abstract. Let me show you how it looks like. So the data, the order that we've just gotten in from our 4 different sources is now sitting there, right? You can see on the right-hand side typical fields and information that you would expect, for example, shipment type, order status, and stuff like that. I can now add customized fields, and I want to know from my logistics team how badly Lucien wants this order, right? So I'm creating a drop-down field, and as I know Lucien, the only options that we can choose are he wants the order urgently, very urgently, extremely urgently, or yesterday. So that's the most urgent scenario that we might be thinking of, right? So we're giving our teams the chance to build a custom field and then have operators and users select how urgent this order is, right? That's a very, very simple first step. Now I want, this is how you can see how users would select it. Now I want the platform to behave accordingly, right? So what I'm doing is I'm setting a trigger, I'm doing something based on how urgently Lucien wants this, right? So I'm telling the platform here, please look for all orders and check whether Lucien wants it yesterday, which is the most urgent scenario, right? And once I do that, I want the platform to take an action. And this action can be many things. It can be a web call, it can be sending an email, it can be creating a PDF. In this case, we wanted to run a workflow. And the workflow is supposed to rebook a time slot if there is a delay based on the urgency. So this is a glance into our business logic builder. You can create different steps. You can calculate certain things. You can run really, really complex operations. No need for you to step into detail here or to understand it in detail. I'm happy to, demo it to you in a bilateral session whenever if you're interested. You can create new fields. You can look into certain tables, as you can see in here. And you can actually tell the platform on how to behave. So on the left-hand side, you see different steps. It is basically saying, if there is a delay in a shipment, please automatically rebook the time slot. And we do that by specifying, by basically setting a framework, right? So if I click on this advanced field, you will see that I search for delays, right? There are some delays, and then as a new component to my business logic, I now want to add the field that we just configured earlier, saying how badly would Lucien want this order, to be able to compare it with other orders that might also be delayed, right? So I'm saying, okay, whenever Lucien wants to have this order yesterday, then please treat it with priority. Again, I know we're running through this super, super quickly, high level. No need to understand it in detail. Just as a sneak preview of how it will look like. So this is how we treat data when it is inside our system, and none of what we've seen so far would be visible by by your actual logistics teams, right? None of that would be visible by users, but only admins. Your users, though, would see what we put into execution and control layer. As I said, we have plenty of these solutions and scenarios. What I would want to show you today is basically two things. One is time slot management. The other is detention and demerge. And I'm super sorry, but I quickly have to put out my earphones. I'll be right back in a second. Cool. So, sorry about that. We're back. So two things that I want to show you is time slot management and detention and demerge. These are two things. For one, I'm really interested in learning how you treat this today. We'll get there, but let's start with time slot management. So please keep in mind the order that we just touched, Lucien being super anxious about it and wanting it yesterday. We will get back to that order. But in general, to set the scene, what we see in time slot management is today, many of our customers do get real-time visibility, and many of our customers do see when trucks arrive, but still scheduling yard management remains a manual effort. Lots of phone calls, manual emails, WhatsApp messages to operate your yard, and we want to change that. So what we've done is we built a time slot management that actually reflects real times of arrivals, of departures. It gives you one place and one suite to manage and allot appointments centrally, and it also gives you the chance to invite your carriers to adapt and collaborate with you. Again, let's quickly have a look into how it looks like. So you again see the super urgent order that Lucien scheduled earlier. First of all, I want to send it to carriers, so you can again set up a booking workflow. In this case, we're just sending an email with a booking request to a carrier. You can pick a template, and this template, of course, should now state again how urgent Lucien wants this, right? So we will quickly add the drop-down information from earlier, okay? So the carrier gets that email with a link to select a slot from our yard that we see in here. You are able to run different yards, different warehouses. You will be able to definitely select as many slots or define as many slots. You can say when which ramps are operating, how long the slots are supposed to be. You can define statuses, colors. You can decide how the slot is being shown if there's a delay. As you can see in here, this would be scheduled for later 5 p.m. You will see in here how many SKUs are affected, right? Which kind of articles would be delayed by that. And now this delay will automatically be rebooked based on the business logic. If you remember what we built earlier, right? We defined on how to operate, on how to behave in terms of a delay. Users can either rebook it manually or say, okay, I want the platform to automatically choose for me. If the platform chooses automatically for me, you see we cleared it now. The slot at 5 p.m. today later is occupied, and instead we rebook to the first available slot tomorrow morning, which would be at 11 a.m. Why? It was the first slot, so the platform checks all the availabilities at all ramps, and as we know, Lucien wanted this order yesterday. We treat it as super urgent. One final comment on it: everything you do in our time slot management, as well as in all the other solutions, can be analyzed, visualized, and analyzed in our built-in BI suite, so that we help you in reducing dwell time and actually realizing value. That is, again, time slot management in a super, I know I'm running pretty fast, so please reach out if you want to step deeper into this. One more thing that we brought for today, again, from execution and control layer, is the detention and demerge part. You probably know, but why? Let's talk about it maybe with a poll. I'm super curious to learn how this is being handled in your teams today. Me, from my own experience, I'm coming from a freight forwarding background. I've worked in logistics all my life, and I have seen quite a few invoices with 5-figure sums of detention and demerge that came months after the actual shipment that I sent came into my office and destroyed my day. So people in logistics usually know how painful detention and demerge is. I'm very curious. You should have seen a poll on your screen how you handle it today. As I can't see the screen, I would need Lucien's.
Yeah, poll is coming, and we'll get the answer in a couple of seconds. So yeah, thanks, Jonas. If you can select your preferred answer. Do you track it precisely? Do you have exact tracking of your detention and demurrage costs today? Do you have some rough estimates? Do you have completely no clue about what's happening on your detention and demurrage fees? Let's take a few more seconds to see what you're answering to that question, and then we'll go again to the solution in a minute.
And whoever says detention and demerge is not a problem at your organization, please reach out to me. I want to learn. That's definitely something I'd be keen to explore.
It's indeed an answer we don't get that often.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Good. Let's maybe go to the answers. Great. So majority don't track it precisely. We do have people, Jonas, to your point, who are tracking it precisely and report on it. So quite interesting. But I would say the majority is not tracking it. So we have a third of people who only find out when the invoice arrives, and the other third either having a rough estimate or just not tracking it at all. So thanks for sharing. Interesting results, which are quite in line with what we see as well on the market.
Thank you. So my email address is jonas.kromland@shippeo.com. And for those who track it precisely, please be warmly invited to send me a mail. I'm very curious to have a coffee chat with you. Cool. And that's not a joke. What have we done though to try mitigating that problem? We again are building on the trusted visibility layer that you already know from Shippeo, that has been built for the last 10 years. And we now basically add detention and demerge tariffs to it. So we kind of like merge real-time transportation visibility with your detention and demerge tariffs. Looks like this, right? So everyone who has seen this knows what we're talking about here. You will have different carriers of yours charging different tariffs or different charges per day once you expire free time. So we need that. And pairing it with Shippeo's visibility data, we are now able to show you which containers will cause what kind of charges in future if you don't hurry getting them out of the port, right? So you can drill down on single container level after having filtered for the most expensive one, the most annoying ones, and you see what the free times would have been. You see all the milestones that you need, so gate in, gate out, return to depot, and you see potential detention and demerge charges. So that is on an operational level. What you can also do is to retrospectively analyze where you have lost money, right? You can break down by detention, you can break down by demerge, you can break down by storage or by the combination. You know, sometimes carriers give you detention demerge combined. And you can also, and your procurement teams basically can see how quickly on average you cleared containers from ports or brought them back to the depot. So should give you better negotiation power for your tender negotiations. You can also, last but not least, look at a global overview and see where you're actually losing money on a daily level, on a daily basis, and you can also see a historical trend and a pattern, and hopefully that trend is positive. So we can look back and tell you exactly how much money you lost or burned in that sense over the past. That is how we treat detention and demerge. Again, 2 minutes max overview. We flag it, we alert it, and we are happy helping you to become one of the people that already track precisely detention and demerge today. Ideally, if we talk about it next year, all the poll answers will be 95% plus in the top category. But as I said, I know I've been running super quickly through this. We have a pretty diverse audience, people from operations, people from IT, from tech desks. So we tried looking into all the aspects that Lucien was referring to in the beginning, the integration, the orchestration, and 2 examples for execution and control. But obviously, this is just supposed to be the beginning of hopefully a very intense conversation with all of you. To really find out how what we've seen in speed run through today, how we can put it to life and how we can generate value for you. I'm super happy to hopefully meet you in person. Yeah, that's about what I wanted to share with you today.
Thank you so much, Jonas. And as shared by Jonas, as you can probably saw during the presentation, the integration, the orchestration capabilities are almost infinite into what we can do. And the use case, the underlying use case will continue to grow over time. This time slot management and detention and demurrage, that's probably 2 of the most critical pain points we've been discussing with our customers in the last few months and years. So that's why we're focusing on them right now. But we have many others in mind, and you might have some other pain points in mind that you want to share with us. So please go and talk to your Shippeo contact, and we'll be really happy to take that discussion forward with you. Visibility and orchestration is a journey, and we can definitely adapt to your reality. I see a lot of questions popping up on the screen, so maybe we'll start answering the first one from Lucia. I don't know if you can see the questions, Jonas. I will probably give this one to you, so I will read it out loud. We have different agreements for D&D, 3 days, depending on vessel company, but in Shippeo we have the freight forwarder. How can we set this up, particularities to follow up and alert about D&D? So I think the question is more in the case of having a freight forwarder in between, Jonas, for the D&D.
Yes, so thanks, Lucia. The easiest is if we could just have a look at the tariff or at the agreement, then we would definitely design it so that it matches your requirements. So what we always do, because every one of our customers has individually negotiated detention and demurrage tariffs, right? So it's common procedure to have a look, map the tariffs. If you remember in the very beginning, you've seen a bit of how we do mappings. We need to do this once. We can do it for you. Don't worry. You don't need to do it yourself. And then we would put them to the platform. I hope this is. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to fully understand the question. It doesn't matter whether there's a freight forwarder in between or not. That's not a showstopper. We can put up the tariff as per carrier and still have your freight forwarder operating on it. That's a very common use case. The majority of our customers does it that way.
Great, thanks, Jonas. We have a second question coming from Jörg about probably the drayage part of the visibility. Did Shippeo improve the data situation after a container left the port? This is one problem today to track it precisely. So maybe I can answer on the visibility part, but before we do that, Jonas, maybe you can also answer about what kind of orchestration can we operate between drayage and the ports, because that's also something we can cover. Maybe I'll start with that and I can answer on the visibility part.
Yes, absolutely. So thanks, Jörg. It is a reality that is just sometimes carriers are not extremely disciplined in sending events. That's something that I've seen for quite a while. What we can do about it is we at least can flag that there is a milestone that is missing that we would have expected there, right? So if your free time for, you're saying after container left the port, so we'd be talking about detention, right? So if you say, or if we see from the tariff that you would have 7 days of free time for detention, and after 6 days, there's still no milestone. Hey, container has been redelivered to empty depot. We can at least flag it. I know it's not taking away all of your pain, but we can definitely flag and via continuous improvement push towards more data completeness. And I hope that's answering your question a bit.
Right. And on the visibility part, so we do track drayage. So we do have connectivity with the drayage carriers, which is, as you might know, York, because you're asking the question, a different market, a market that is more niche, with sometimes carriers that are less equipped with technology and tracking or telematics. So we use a lot the mobile app, for example, that we have. We have a spot tracking mobile app for drayage carrier that is working quite well. But it's indeed sometimes more a challenge to track the drayage part than the FTL or the LTL moves inland. But that's something we can cover technically, and we do with some customers. So happy to take that offline with you. Thanks for asking the question. Another interesting question that popped up from Camille, which is, I think, touching really the core of what we are doing with the orchestration. So I'll read it out loud. Can customer build his own agent, for example, for sending email alerts and build his own structure? So I think this is exactly what we shown and what we are doing. So maybe, Jonas, that's an interesting example. We can stop as well about how we are embedding AI into the process and how people can really go deep into the configuration of their own workflows and alert into the system.
Yes, dziękuję, Kamil. So I think I don't know how deeply and how technically we want to go here. I'll try to keep it rather simple. There are two ways of how we see AI. One is internal, and I'm pretty sure Anand, our CPO, will have lots to talk about our AI roadmap. That'll be super, super exciting. And what you've seen today is an external way. And I only want to focus on the second, right? Because the first one is too much of a broad topic. The simple answer to your question is yes. So how it would look like from a technical point of view is you send a data set from Shippeo to the own agent, as you rightfully call it, of your choice, and you get back a result, right? Whatever happens in between of giving the data to the agent and getting a result back is fully up to you. So you can definitely tell it how to behave. You can prompt or you can train the agent. That's the proper wording as you want. And I hope that's like, let me know if that doesn't answer your question. I hope it does.
Great. Thank you, Jonas. Another question is coming from Mathieu, just came up. So I will read it out loud. Knowing our coverage with Shippeo sits between 70 to 90%, and that TMS provider are onboarding AI agents in their respective solution, why should I build agents in Shippeo? Why could I do it directly in my TMS, having more data points and complete data set, knowing Shippeo track and trace is being fetched to the TMS? So it's basically how does orchestration complement or overlap with the TMS, which is also a very good question that we can answer. Jonas, maybe you have some answers for that. I can also give my perspective, but I think we share the same regarding TMS collaboration.
Whatever you prefer. Should I go first?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Cool. So, and, I mean, I briefly mentioned earlier, I initially come from freight forwarding, so I've seen quite a few different TMSs. And what I learned within those that I have seen is that they cover a certain scope, right? And what you could not do from my point of view in a TMS is, for example, to orchestrate orders or to do more like something that is on top or beyond the specific transport itself, right? So what we do is we rather look at holistic supply chain orchestration, right? So there are building blocks left and right of what a typical TMS scope would be. And this is where I would say, hey, an overarching end-to-end holistic setup is where we'd feel very comfortable. At the risk of having misunderstood your question, I would again offer to be super happy to jump on a call with you and to spar in more detail, taking it offline. But I hope that I'm giving at least a good direction of
Yep.
where I would see the differentiation.
No, great answer. And maybe to add my perspective to that as well, Mathieu, to your question, and we can drill down into details offline probably on your specific use case. But we see the orchestration layer being the junctions between visibility and your TMS, because the ability to trigger an action or to trigger that you have something to do into your planning system or into your TMS is sometimes the missing link. So when you see something into Shippeo, nobody is telling you that you actually need to take an action or need to do something in your TMS. So we actually see the workflow and the orchestration as a way to actually combine the visibility you have in Shippeo and the action you need to take into the TMS. So it doesn't mean that all the actions that you need to take, like rebooking an order or changing your planning or ordering a stock transfer, or I mean anything you want to do based on visibility, it doesn't have to be taken on the Shippeo platform. But at least the Shippeo platform will trigger the workflow that will tell you that you have to take this action. So we really see this orchestration as the junction between visibility and your TMS, in the case you use the TMS. Otherwise, you are somehow blind. And what we do today with our TMS partners is that we send them back the information about there is a delay or there is something, but we sometimes see this information not triggering an action into the TMS because you miss this orchestration layer in between. So that's why we believe it's highly complementary. But thanks for asking the question. It's a great one. Maybe coming back to go ahead, Jonas.
Yeah, I think Camille. I mean, I love it. That's exactly what I was hoping for, Camille. And I would offer, like, maybe to explain a bit. What our teams do is something that we call visibility engineering, right? I don't know whether it's a word outside of Shippeo, but inside of Shippeo it definitely is. So we call this concept visibility engineering. And what we basically would love to do, or what I personally would also like to do, is to sit with you and dive deeper into what you're having in mind. I hope that today you could see that. I mean, I cannot only tell the platform whether Lucien wants his orders yesterday or not. I can also obviously configure the platform in a way that it suits you more, and less around jokes and more about your actual business cases. So what we could definitely do is, if you're saying, hey, I want to configure an agent in the platform, I would be super happy to take one or two colleagues to block a day with you, have a workshop, and actually do it together with you. And that concept we call visibility engineering. So it's very common for us to come visit you and workshop on it together with you, because an agent is nothing that I can take off the shelf, right, and just deploy. It needs sparring with you. We need to be a bit creative, and we are happy to consult you on it.
And I think Camille's question is also raising another question that we also get a lot because Camille's question was, that's great, but I want to build flow in Shippeo, which is, hey, what are you going to do with these two platforms? Because that's usually the question when two software companies are joining forces. Do I have to jump from one platform to another? Do I have to take an action here and then jump to another solution? The promise we have for our customers, and that's something that we are already live on, is that it will be one platform, one interface, one user interface, and one way of operating with the data. So you don't have to jump between two different platforms. As you saw in the demo of Jonas, it's already integrated into a single UI, a single platform, which means that you can jump from a visibility screen where you are tracking your shipment to an orchestration or workflow screen where you are taking an action. Everything on the same interface, and that's already live for our customers, specifically for the two solutions on time slot and detention and demurrage that we've shown you. So the goal is not to degrade the experience of our users, but to augment it with more functionalities on the same platform, on the same interface. And that's the question, of course, we get a lot. Hey, do I have to jump between two solutions? The answer is absolutely not. You will have, and you already have actually, for this use case, a unified user experience. That were really great questions, which I think are really touching to the bottom of the topic: collaboration with TMS, single platform, orchestration. So thanks for asking them. We can maybe spend a few more minutes for any last remaining questions, if you have any. So feel free to send it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll continue the discussion offline with all of you. Again, as said by Jonas, if you have any questions about, hey, how does it work? How does it collaborate with Shippeo? How does it complement my existing setup? What are the possibilities of what you can do in terms of triggering workflows, in terms of orchestration? There is many things we can do. So please reach out to your Shippeo contact, whether it's your account manager, your customer success manager, and we'll be really happy to sit down, as said by Jonas, and run a visibility engineering workshop, sitting for a few hours with you in a room and understanding what are your pain points and how we can solve them with the combination of Shippeo and Logward. If there are no further questions, we'll stop the webinar now and leave it for your feedback. I think you receive a question on the feedback. Thanks so much for joining. We are extremely excited about the future ahead. It's opening exciting opportunities for our customers, for our users. So the future is really interesting, and we are really looking forward to take that forward with you. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks, Jonas, for participating, for co-hosting with me, and see you soon. Bye-bye.